The AG's office has received hundreds of complaints from people shopping online to shopping at brick-and-mortar stores. We know Attorney General Bob Ferguson has deployed a team of investigators and attorneys to look at businesses that are accused of price gouging during this pandemic. Some businesses are getting cease and desist orders. Some have been given subpoenas to share their practices on pricing. Ferguson says hopefully these businesses will just stop and it won't lead to a lawsuit. In the meantime, we know his office is considering going to state lawmakers next year to ask for some sort of price gouging law. Some states have laws that limit how much a business can charge in a state of emergency, for example. Others have laws that keep businesses from jacking up prices on essential items. Now, Washington currently only has a Consumer Protection Act that says businesses have to be fair, but fair could be interpreted differently.
So court would have to decide, well, if you raise that product by 5% or 10%, was that unfair? Or did you have a legitimate business reason for doing that? Now, look, I would submit that we're seeing prices going from $4 for a small bottle of hand sanitizer to $50. No one's going to persuade any judge that's not unfair. So a lot just depends on the details.
Ferguson says a law change could make it very clear for businesses and consumers what to expect in a future emergency. So his office is now doing a lot of homework to see what other states do about price gouging. That being said, Ferguson's office is still asking people to report price gouging. There is an online reporting system. You can also do it by mail too. But if you'd like to see the online reporting system and make your case, text the word report to 206-448-4545 and we will send you a link. Back to you.